Welcome back, everybody, to another exciting DuckmanCycles of VW Garage. We're back today with another one of my logic converters. This little guy allowed us to do some things with lights last time that got snowflake taillights working on an improper wiring harness with the wrong turn signal flasher and the wrong turn signal switch. In this case, this little device can also be used for a trailer adapter. We're going to demonstrate that right here, so I hope you don't mind that vacuum cleaner running in the back. Just actually got shut off. I guess they're done vacuuming the lawn. Anyways, we'll be back with this one. We're going to hook up this trailer here to my Volkswagen Fastback right here behind me. So, licky, like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to pluck that dingle bell to get updates every time I upload a video. Check out duckshit.net for all my social media links, and we'll be back right after that message or something intro. Yeah, that. Thanks for watching. This is the trailer to the club go-kart. You probably remember me working on that recently. There it is. And there's the body currently pushed up and out of the way. Hey, Cheeky, how are you doing, little girl? Anyways, I needed a way to haul this thing around so we can start demonstrating and showing it off. We start going to car shows and other events. So I need to hook it up to the Fastback. Now, you might remember on the Fastback, we put a trailer hitch on it last season, so I could get Eleanor, or Triple E as we now call her. We don't say Eleanor anymore, because nobody can spell that. So Triple E it is. But we put the hitch on there so that way I could take both Ruby and the Triple E to the car show, and that's how I made that work out. But what I did not do is I failed to hook up any wiring to it because I just ran out of time. And I haven't needed to tow a trailer since, but we're changing things. But as you know, the taillights on Volkswagens are typically 3-circuit. That means you have a turn signal, you have a marker light, and you have a brake light. So it's 3 different circuits. Now on a trailer, you have 2 circuits. There's the running light, and then there's the combination light that's both the stop light and the turn signal light. So brake light, stop light, same thing, and turn signal are combined into one wire. This little device will allow those signals from this car to be combined, work out the logic, and then send it through the trailer wire, whoop, to where it needs to go. So we're going to install this on here. I've already started looking around in here, and I think the place I'd like to put it is actually right inside of here. There's this little void inside the body, and it just kind of fits in there. So I think that's what we're going to do. I think that's how I'm going to make that work. There's the hitch, of course. I'll just get that out of the way for the time being. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up this tail light, extract the wiring from it. We also need to look in the engine compartment, because in the engine compartment we're going to have to hook up some power wire, which I think I might tap into the coil, because that's the way my instructions actually call for it. The backup light fuse is there, and I can tap into the output of that, so that way this little guy is also fused. So we'll run a power wire up into here for that. Set up a ground, and then hook up the rest of the linking wires. So I guess we'll start by taking that one apart. Inside here, 2 Phillips head screws should pull this out. You don't want to lose these screws. These are special ones that are made for Volkswagen taillights, and if you lose them, they get really hard to find. And expensive if you can. Here's our taillight housing. This is the wrong set of screwdrivers I have here for this. Yeah, I didn't bring out an adequate flathead. Or did I? I saw it on the ground, actually. Yeah, there it is. I see you. Come here, you. I guess I kicked it while I was walking around. Alright. Somebody put these flathead screws in here. This is before I got to the car. They've always been in here, and they do hold. So I've not messed with it. If they're going to work, then I'm going to leave them there because they do work. And I anticipate behind this it's going to be very dusty. That's because the gills on the side of the car over here where the air intake sucks in, they're behind this, so any dust that goes in there is going to collect behind this. So expect this to look like a haunted house. Yeah, I was right. Look how dirty that is. Let me get you closer. You need to see this. Okay, typically the black and red is your stop light. I don't know why I see that on the bottom. That's the way it seems to be hooked up here. I have to check the schematic. Your gray wire, which appears to be the middle one, is going to be your running light. And then the top one should be our turn signal, which should be black with a white stripe on the left side. And on the right side, which we'll take apart later, should be black with a green stripe. But I'm going to have to clean these up for sure. I'm going to have to get I guess a wet sponge or something. There's some body paint on this here, and this car had been repainted at one point. Maybe not completely, but there was some kind of restoration job done on this car. And I'm going to have to do a little research to find out why those wires don't look right. Because I thought the brake light was in the middle here. And the backup light's not part of this. The backup light would normally be on the bumper in this hole, but remember, we put that trailer hitch receiver in there, and I still haven't reinstalled those yet. I will get to it. It's just one of those things I haven't done yet. Looking inside of here, I don't think these are hooked up correctly. I think we're in the wrong position because I think the brake light's supposed to be in the middle and the running light's supposed to be on the bottom. Turn signal's in the right spot. But I see this is a socket for a dual filament bulb, but for some reason we have a dual filament on the top. What the hell are you doing? We got a dual filament one on the top. I didn't do this, but it's been working all this time that I've had it. So this is just, it's all wrong. Anyway, go away! I'm gonna kick his ass. He has to come over here just to scream. But anyway, I don't know what the hell's going on with all this, so I'm gonna leave the wires in the positions they're in, but we are gonna sort out these bulbs and what's going on here as well as we start running those wires up to where they need to go. So, well, let's get started, right? Now, you know what it says right here what the wattage is supposed to be. So this is supposed to be an 18 watt for a turn signal. This is supposed to be a 21 watt for, okay, this is actually probably the brake. This is probably correct there. And then a 5 watt here in the middle for the running light. So actually, you know what? They're right. The wiring schematics that I'm looking at on these and the way that I feel it should be is different. So I'm going to go with it. Leave it alone. But we are going to fix these bulbs because this is a single filament socket and that's a double filament bulb. So that is wrong. We'll get that sorted out. I don't know why the hell he's coming over here next to me just to scream. Alright, what a dick. The other concern I had was getting a wire from this side over to this side. And there's a hollow void inside the body up here, which actually where Volkswagen runs some wires. This is where my trunk light's supposed to be. I never really had one. So I capped off the wire just to make sure it wasn't going to touch anything. But I've since run through a black and green wire, which is the same colors that would normally be on the right-hand turn signal, all the way through over to here so it can interface with this. So we got that hooked up. At least that's one wire that's ready to go in, right? So we'll pick that accordingly in just a second here. But I think what we're going to do to run this bundle through is there's a gap at the top up inside of there, and you can't see it. It's dark as hell in there. But that will allow the wires to come into here. And then from in here, we can then run them to where they need to go, where this is going to be. So let's make us a little wire bundle and start getting some wires pulled. And let's get this car laced up. All right. That bratty rooster that keeps screaming behind me happens to be my, well, not youngest boy, but he's the father of the youngest boy. And the youngest boy actually just started crowing today. And his crows are... well, his father did the same thing when he was younger. It sounded like he had a potato stuck in his throat. It's just a horrible sound. I heard that in the yard today, and I didn't realize it was him at first. I thought it was another rooster in the neighborhood, because there are others here. They wander through the neighborhoods, and that's actually where mine came from. They're relatives of the one that wandered through the neighborhood. Anyway, he started making noise today, which kind of surprised me. By the way, I found a red and black wire from an old destroyed wiring harness that we're going to hook to the red and black wire in here. So everything's actually going to have the right colors on it, which is one of those things that just makes me happy. Anytime that I can pull that off, it's a wonderful day. So we're hooking up the red and black one here first. This is our stoplight. Keep this. Looks like there's some paint on the electrical connector. That's going to make it nice and shiny. These, I don't overthink them. It's nice to crimp them, but for some of this stuff, you don't want to just slice it to pieces. So I give it a good tight wrap, and then I put this shrink tubing around it, which keeps it locked down. And then I have my shrink tubing heat gun over here. Whoa! Which will make short work out of locking this all together. And you never have to think about it again because moisture can't get in it. It can't pull itself apart because it's all held together by compression. Here it is. Now my brake light wire is spliced, so that's the other end of it. Now we're going to do the same thing to this one. First I'm going to connect or reconnect this one. This is one of those things, by the way, you guys, you should disconnect your battery. In my case, I actually shortcutted and did not. And the only reason I did not is because I don't have the key on, nor any of the lights. And I'm not going to turn it on until I'm done here. Kind of like, you know, replacing a light fixture and not turning on the light switch in that room. Kind of the same idea here. There's no hot wires currently in this area, so I think we'll be safe. Okay. Now what I'm doing here is I'm gently stretching this shrink tubing so that way it's much easier to slide over. One of them little frustrating things about this stuff is sometimes it's the perfect size. And when I say perfect size, and I don't mean like it's just gonna fit just like that. I mean perfect size like it's too much interference if you try to get it on. Alright, here's our gray wire. We'll slide it over the existing connector since now we've stretched it out. It should go right on there. Or not. Looks like it's going for the or not statement. There it goes. Boy, all the chickens are making noise today, even the girls. That doesn't want to go on. Okay, it's being a dick. Alright, that makes me very unhappy. Now we'll just stretch it out just a little more. Looks like it needs just a bit more. Just like that. Just put 2 screwdrivers in and then just, you know, like that. It makes it a little easier for this thing to slide. There it goes. See? Didn't need much for clearance. And that way when it shrinks too, it shrinks nice and tight. I slid that on too soon anyway. It's got to go on last. If you work with shrink tubing, you know most of the time that you got to put it on the wire first. I guess that's what I was thinking. In this case, because of how I'm setting this up here. We're actually going to put the shrink tubing on second. That wire's kind of short. I wonder if somebody cut that short at one point, because usually you get a little more wire in here. Volkswagen's never been this stingy. I think I might need a needle nose in here because my hands are just not small enough to get... Oh, no, we got it. Here it goes. Alright, let's shrink that sucker up. Alright, here's our gray wire for our running light. Here's our black and red one for our brake light. These are going to be cut down because they're way too long. And here's our black and white one, which is going to go on our turn signal. Let's click this on here so, ow, a little warm still. There we go. Alright, get this out the way. Clean this one up. These little logic adapters are very, very easy to install. They can be used for a lot of different things. For combining all sorts of turn signals with running lights, or brake lights with turn signals, or trailer lighting. And I actually have a few more ideas in the works to create a few other things that people have actually asked me for, because I've started to get special requests now for some of this stuff. They want their lights to do things in certain patterns, or they want a better flasher than the modules that are either available on the market or the ones that Volkswagen initially offered. I don't blame them because a lot of those suck. So I might be coming up with some more devices. There we go. I should be able to click that right on here. Alright, this ground wire bullshit. Oh, great, it broke right off even. Well, that's not good, is it? Okay. That wasn't even properly attached on there. I wonder if I can solder it back on or what? It does look like it's a solder kind of connection. Somebody soldered that on anyway. So this is all bullshit. This is gonna go away. Okay, I'm gonna keep the camera off for a minute while I come up with a solution to fix this one, because this is stupid. Alright. This was complete bullshit. I couldn't solder a piece back on there. I tried, it just would not tin. Even though it had a little connector in there that looked like it had tinned with a brass component before, but it was probably just welded. Anyway, self-tapping screw solved the problem. Put a little loop connector on it, that solves that issue. This is probably not the way it's supposed to be, but we're gonna ground that out back to the screw the way it was, because that did work. Now, these 3 wires are the ones that are going to... That bird is such an asshole. Are going to be the ones that run back up into the car for our brake lights here. What I'm going to do, let's make sure that I got this right. Yeah, I want to zip tie these all together, tie them off. Starting from this one on the bottom, this one coming up next, and then this one at the top. So it's going to be like that. Probably isn't necessary. It might be overkill, but I think it's going to organize things a little better here and stop this dangly mess from bouncing around behind this tail light. And actually makes a lot more sense the way it is. Of course, my cutters are out of reach, so we'll just use the crimpers, which have a cutter built into it. There we go. That looks good. Here's our wiring. I've got this piece of loom here. It's just split loom, but when you twist it up real good, it gets nice and tight, and it becomes a solid tube. And I found a hole in the body here that actually goes all the way through into the trunk. You see that comes out on this side. So I should be able to, if I get lucky, right? Feed these wires through here and have them come out the other side, as long as they don't get tangled. I probably should shove a fish tape or something through it first. Let's see if this one pokes its head out the other end, which it feels like it's about to. My wire. There it goes. Here we go. I'm going to take this pink wire, beige wire, orange wire. Can't tell what color it is. Ah, it's Duckman color. How about that? Alright. We'll just tie this right on here. Just like that. Hopefully the nut's not too big to pull it back through. Here it is. Now I can bundle all the wires to it and pull them all through simultaneously. This knot's going to be bigger than the other one was. I hope it's still small enough to get through there. Yes, I was a Boy Scout. Those of you should remember that knot if you were a scout. Alright, here we go. Pull this thing through the body. Did I already fuck up? Did I run everything on the wrong side? Maybe I should have run it under instead of over. Yeah, I probably should have. Let's do this over again. Right over here, so we're probably going to cut it off right about here. Make sure the wires are not in it. Hate to cut it off with the wires in it. Screw it all up. Duckman, you screwed up your own project. There we go. Run this through here just like that. A little more twist in this. Now, just to make sure that it stays that way, we shall zip tie it. There we go. Snippy snippy. Let's put one on the other end. we got a nice bundle here that doesn't matter how much it vibrates against sharp metal, it's not going to cut through it. Alright, now on this end, we got to figure out how long our wires are going to be, and it looks like we're going to run right into this here. I think we're going to cut them off right about this length. That should get it. Okay. Now our gray wire, this is going to be our taillight wire. This is one we leave alone. These are our turn signal wires though. These are going to need proper connections on them. Go. I'll take these wires, put us our shrink tubing up. Another one, shrink tubing goes up. Push these up real good. I like to fold the wire back in on itself. So that way when I put it in the crimp connector, it'll grab the insulation and everything. Give us a really strong connection. Come on, get in here. Put that over here. Good. Same thing here. The tubing I put on there already fell off, unless it went down inside of there somewhere. I don't see it in there. Another piece on then. Gotta stretch it just a little bit. Sure, I could use a size a little bigger, but I always use a smaller one because it gives it a much better tight and more snug, waterproof, and maybe even airtight fitment. It's funny, these tubings are all like between sizes anyway. If I use one that's too big, it never shrinks enough. Oh, there's the piece. It was on there the whole while. There's two on one wire now. Man, why did I not see that? Probably because the light out here is starting to fail already. Starting to lose daylight. A lot later than normal though, because daylight savings of course adjusted, but I wish they would end that damn shit. Give us our summertime and leave it alone. Okay, slide this over here. There we go. And this tube, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get that one back off. I might end up wasting one here. Spend too much time on this. But if I was getting paid by the hour, it'd be a different story. Alright, we're just going to give it a big old FI. because I just screwed it up anyway. So I'll put a new connector on there. I don't know what FI means. It means fuck it. Duckman, why do you swear in your videos? Because the Duckman is a real person. He doesn't need to cover shit up. Swearing makes you sound unintelligent. Well, f you too. There we go. Alright, I'm much happier with that. Much happier. This one still needs a little stretchy. I think it'll be just a little bigger than it is. There we go. Alright. Now, where's my trailer harness? Here it is. Alright, here's my trailer harness. You guys might find that familiar. But here's our wires. This one's our right side, or starboard. The yellow one, I don't know who comes up with these colors, but that's left. Our white is going to be ground. Volkswagen ground is typically brown. But our brown is not ground, that's actually going to be tail light. So we're going to put tail light to the gray wire here. This one's going to be a straight through hookup. We'll put that right on there. And we should be able to start shrinking these. Here we are. Alright, and here is our logic adapter. Let's start hooking this thing up. I could probably even do it with one hand. We're going to try. Alright, here he goes. Putting himself back on the trailer to head off to Panama City. He drove almost 200 miles to bring this car to me to get this thing tuned because, well, he had nobody else good in the area. And the suggestion came per Wild Bill. He actually didn't know who I was on my YouTube or my fame or anything to do with my social media presence, but nonetheless, he was very, very thankful that he met me. What a nice guy he is, and what a great car. This thing is just fantastic, and well, he's going to trailer it back, which was probably a wise choice after making some big upgrades. Sometimes it's better when you're driving 200 miles to not take its real maiden voyage. You know, he's the expert. He's put it up on the trailer before. Looks like it's a good fit. Barely makes it between the ramps there. A little more. Keep going. You got about another 2 feet. There it is. Now you're on there. Good. Fantastic. Oh, we got to take your thing off of there so you can get out. These trailers are great. They have this really cool feature here. You can unbutton the fender and let them out. Alright. There she goes out of here. Very thankful to meet good people like this. Very happy that he shared his car with me and with us here on our YouTube channel. Thanks very much to Ken, the owner. And hopefully we don't see him too soon. But we would like to see him again. That was a beautiful car. I hope he'll be in our show this year. RareAirVW.com. Get registered. Well, we had to take a break for a minute. The neighbor behind me was running really loud Mexican music, and it was like the same song over and over and over again for the last 4 hours. Yeah, a bit much. Anyways, I'm not the neighbor that complains. I just go about my business and move on, and that's what I did. The reason why I'm in here, though, to show you the inside of the engine compartment is because I hooked this orange wire into the fuse block for the rear brake lights. I'm sorry. Into the fuse block for the backup lights. So that's what this guy is right here. So this orange wire runs down through comes up through here and comes out in this bundle, which is something I neglected to show earlier, but that's what's going to power my little brick. Now my brick, wherever my little logic converter went, he was right here. Uh-oh, did we lose him? Maybe he's over here. There he is. He was on the workbench next to me. Each one of these pins is clearly labeled, and you might need a flashlight to get in there, or you could look at the diagram, of course, and count your number of pins on the way down. But these are very easy to hook up. So just going from memory, plugging this in, starting from left to right, we have our left switch, which in this case is going to be coming from our left light. So that would be this one. And the next one would be the left light. Left light on the trailer would be the yellow one. This is my trailer 4-wire pin adapter right here. I'm going to zoom in on this so you guys can see it a little better as I'm plugging this in. There you go. Our left light would be the yellow one. Just like this. Boop. Our dash indicator is there. We're not using that in the front this time, so we're going to let that one slide. And we have our right switch, which is this green wire that comes out of the firewall here. I'm not going to plug that in just yet because it's kind of short, so we're going to come back to that one. But our right light is this. Our brake switch, which is the black and red one coming out of the bundle right here, goes in there. And we have our ground, which is white on the harness but brown on the Volkswagen harness. So trailer harness is white, brown on a Volkswagen, so that's what this wire is. There's a little loop on it. The little loop could be grounded directly to the little hole on here to mount it, or you could ground it to the chassis. There just happens to be a screw back inside here that we're just going to use. I don't know who put it in there, I don't know why it's there, I don't care. Now it has a purpose. And then lastly, the orange one is our positive. So this should be able to go in here. Now, I'm going to take that screw out of this car. Again, I don't know why it's there, but I know why we're going to use it. We'll get this thing in there and we'll start zip tying some wires and making this nice and secure. And then we're going to plug this into the trailer. Try to get it centered here. So we can actually test this thing and see if it works properly. I got a feeling it should be just fine. This harness is a little beat up though. There's a couple spots where it's a little kinked. It's not cut through, or at least it doesn't appear to be. But if it is, it might be no good. I might have to run to the auto parts store and grab another one. I'm also going to put a zip tie on here because sometimes these like to fray and then these wires end up separate down the entire length, which is really frustrating. So it's definitely getting a zip tie on this to hold that bundle together. Okay, let's get inside of here and get this thing straight. Alright, I got that zip tie on to stop them wires from fraying apart. We got our bolt in there on our ground wire. Now this entire little block fits, well, you know, we shouldn't fit it in yet. I got to make that one connection. I'm going to try to do it with one hand. You know, I'm going to put the camera down just like this. And you guys are going to watch me. Here we go. Just like this here. Click. Alright, it's in. Now it can go up in its holium. Right up in there. I still need to cut that zip tie off too, but I should be able to do that once it's in here, I would think. Why is that not going in? There it goes. That's not bad. A piece of double-sided tape would certainly clean that right up. Stop it from moving. It does want to move. But I think we got it. I think that's good. Alright, let's take our hitch receiver. I'm not going to lock it down for the moment just because we're not making the trailer a permanent fixation. We're not going anywhere, you know. Just put it on there. Alright. Have our LED lights on the back. I wired this trailer up a couple days ago for the second time because the lights were reversed originally. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier in the video. I put the whole harness on, and when I went to test it on the Z, it flashed on the wrong side. Then I realized that the harness was on completely backwards, so I had to take the harness completely back out, and I hooked it back up, and then I realized that the the light housing has a license plate on one side. I think it's this side. No, maybe it's this side. There's a lens underneath for the light to come through, and if it's on the wrong side, well, then it faces up. And you can't put the license plate on the top of the way these things are designed. So anyway, I fixed it. Everything's reversed now the way it should be. So if we make our connection between here and here, presto, we should have a effective trailer setup. It should work. And this looks good. What I can do is I can drape this up over here like this, and then close the deck lid down on it. Gotta close the engine lid first, of course. Close the deck lid down, just like that. I have a trailer wire, and this is a little long, but I did that on purpose, just because I didn't know who was gonna have what kind of trailer on here, so this could easily pull the slack out of it, you know. I mean, it doesn't need to be a big deal made out of this. It is blocking the license plate, but I'll fix that. Alright, well, that's how it's gonna work. Let's go ahead and put some power to it, starting with running lights. Running lights are on. Oh, not on that side. That's why I didn't want to reassemble this, in case there was an electrical problem. Looks like something's loose in there, and I bet you it's a ground. Anyway, we do have trailer lights, though. They are effectively working. Good. Alright, let us go with a left side signal next. One left side signal. Got no signal. Oh, you know why? Didn't turn the key on. Key is on. Flashing. And yes, it looks like 4 ways, but that's just the way the Type 3 was wired into the gauge. That's just the way it works. One left signal. And I got one left signal flashing. Very good. Alright, let us do a right signal. Do we have a right signal? No. It's bound to be a bad ground on that side, but we do have one back here on the trailer. Well, I thought I saw it. Maybe I don't. Do have a bad connection here someplace. Might just be in this. These can be notorious for making bad connections. And that just came on. But still no signal there. Okay, well, I do have something to look at. It's probably just a loose connection. I don't hear this tick-tocking back here, though, so it's probably a bad connection right here. Pull this back out. If this doesn't get grounded properly, it will do some weird things, or nothing. Does look like we're hooked up properly, though. Ground is in place. Ground wire is where it needs to be. See if that made any difference. No, it didn't. Alright, well, I got a little hunting. Looks like I have a wiring problem. I definitely have an issue over here on this side. That marker light should be on that side. It's not. But the flasher did come on, so I bet you we have a bad ground that was intermittent, which we're going to fix. And probably the bulb or bulb socket has a problem for the marker light. That's coming on, though, so the wiring seems to be good. But anyway, I don't know what's going on, and I'll figure it out. It's bound to be in these connections. I don't think it's my little device, because my device is pretty awesome, actually. These things have been really good every time I put one on something. Alright. Well, let's get it sorted out. We'll get it figured out. And we'll be right back. That was actually stupid easy. The wire that comes off of the turn signals back here, I had it on the wrong pin. And it's diode protected because I had it on the dash indicator. So the power didn't go anywhere because the diode wouldn't allow it to. If you're not familiar with diodes, diode's like a check valve, which allows the power only to go in one direction. So it was on that pin, therefore it didn't bleed over to the other side and it didn't do anything else. It just shut it off because it was going the wrong direction. Anyway, working. That's working. We know this side is working. We need to see brake lights, though, don't we? Yes. Brake lights are going to act out of sync, though, because that's just the way this thing functions. I'll show you. It's actually really cool because it makes it a little more obvious that your signal is on because you have more lights lighting up at the same time. In other words, there's always a light on even during the off cycle of the flash. And you'll see what I'm talking about when we get that far. But I want to fix that first. I might not show that on video because I don't think that's something that's video worthy. Probably take 2 seconds to fix it. And we'll be right back. Otherwise, you might be able to hear it. Tick-tock, tick-tock. Here it is. I put the microphone on it so you can hear it. Alright. Have at it. Fix it, Duckman. Well, that was a very easy repair on that side. I just popped the lens off and tightened down one of the mounting screws to the housing and came on. So it was definitely a loose ground on that side. My microphone's wobbling. Sorry for the noise. I should snug it up. Alright, so right now I have everything working. Left and right. We also have our marker lights. So let's go ahead and test this to make sure that our brake lights are working. And that, of course, I can't do from behind the camera. Well, I guess I suppose I could, but I'd take the camera with me if that were the case. So we got to set up the old tripod over here. Alright, we'll be right back in just a minute. Here we are. You can see all 4 of them are flashing, and you can see just how slow incandescent bulbs are versus LEDs. LEDs are instant on and off. And incandescent bulbs really work via heat, so they kind of flash on and then fade out. So they don't work quite as quickly. Now, as soon as I step on the brakes, you're going to see that the signals are going to actually flip-flop alternate. They'll do this. It'll make more sense when we get to that point, but I'll show you right now. So let's go ahead and see what we got. All right, here we go. First, let's turn off the four-way. Make sure our brake lights work. There they are. This is our marker light. This is our left signal. Marker lights off. Right signal. Marker lights on. No signals. Marker lights off. Left signal. And we're going to step on the brakes. Now, you should see the brake lights come on the one side, and the turn signal should be flicking forwards, back, forwards, back. That's actually how the logic board works in there, and actually does the flippity-floppity like that. Now, if the car were all LEDs, of course, that would be happening a lot faster, and you wouldn't be seeing the fading of the incandescent bulbs the way that they do. But looks like it's going to work good. I'll check the video, because naturally, once you look at the video, is when you discover the shit don't work right. Alright, let's see what we got. Well, one thing I noticed before I put this away, I forgot to hook up the marker lights on the sides. So yeah, they're working. Real easy stuff. Just hook it right into the brown wire underneath the trailer and then hook up a ground. So, good to go in that department. You're an ass because I'm trying to talk. And now it's your turn to come out here. I know because it's later in the afternoon. Go away. Anyway, fully functional. And while I was at it, I reversed the leaf springs. So that way the trailer sits a little lower because the go-kart's kind of heavy. And it was a bit of a hump to lift it up that high. Well, anyway, that drops it a good, I don't know, 3 inches or so, maybe more than that. But anyway, I'm much happier with it in that position. It also levels it out with the drop tongue on it, so it works out real nicely. Well, I figured I should show you guys in the dark so you can see it a little bit better. The camera will pick it up much better. And just how impactful these LED lights are. I mean, they are incredibly bright. LED panels are great, but LED bulbs, if you put them in those particular housings that you see here on a classic Volkswagen, those little LED bulbs don't do crap. If you can get a replacement LED panel, however, that's full of LEDs, you know, a big enclosure, then it's a much different story because they're aimed correctly and it just works better. Anyway, let me show you that little crisscross that we're going to get. When I get on the brakes, we get to see that flippity-floppity between the light here on the car and the light that's flashing back here on the trailer. They're going to do opposites. Might be a little more obvious now. There you go. Alternating. Part of the original design. There it is with the four-ways on. And if I get off the brakes, now you see they're flashing at the same time. Just the way it works with brakes. See? Crisscross, crisscross, off the brakes, they flash at the same time. It's kind of a weird side effect, but absolutely functional. Visibility is top. And my shorts are cute. Well, that's just another one of the many uses that my logic converter provides. If you're interested in one of these, check out the links down below in the video description. You can see what else you can do with it because it's capable of a lot of different things, not just merging taillight signals or trailer light signals, but it also will work on headlights and front markers as well. If you want to set up some kind of a custom buggy, or if you have an earlier Beetle, for example, that you want the marker lights to both flash and be a signal at the same time, or even in your headlights, if you have a double glass bulb, that little marker light that's in the bottom of it, you can put a higher wattage bulb in it if you want, and use one of these and you can make it flash as well as running a marker light. So I mean, it can be dual purpose without running any extra wires. This is a nearly direct plug and play unless you need something special, you have some very, very unusual requests. This thing might actually handle it. Now I'm actually thinking about designing some more different types of these that do some more different things to add some more modern conveniences to our cars via electronics, of course. And if you're interested in one, once again, check out the links down below in the video description. I've also got them listed up on the sample. You could check for logic converter. That's what you'll find it under. Simple as that. Anyway, that's it for now, you guys. Like, comment, subscribe, and don't forget to plug that dingle bell to get updates every time I upload a video. Check out DuckShit.net for all my social media links. I appreciate you guys watching, and I hope you're interested in seeing this stuff. Who knows? Another wiring video. It's either boring as hell or everybody loves them. Wiring videos are weird. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time. This little guy here was a